Hello, we are here for one more lesson of this T-Flex CAD training course, and the topic for today will be the work plans. Work plan is another type of entity we have available inside T-Flex CAD. It's an auxiliary 3D construction element. You can see the standard ones in here. Um, and the concept is to visualize an abstract concept of this thing that we call the geometrical plan. The main purpose of this work plan is to bring the two-dimensional, the 2D drawing objects into 3D model space that we've started already talking in this course. Um, and these 2D objects, and we mentioned it already, are the base to build 3D elements inside the software. Um, it's not possible that when we think about work plans that everything is done with work plans. No, we have other tools that complement the topic of the work plans, but these work plans are the base to work inside the 3D. Um, work plans can be divided in two groups, the standard ones and the auxiliary ones. The standard are the work plans that coincide or are parallel to the one of the principal coordinate plans, these ones that we have on the screen. The other ones are entities that we build outside of these orientations. So let us try to do a couple of things and to see what it is possible to do with these work plans. I may take a little longer in this lesson, but there are a lot of different concepts. I will try to show you the main ones. So these are the work plans that we have when we start a 3D file, and we can choose them either directly from the screen or from this history 3 of operations also here. Okay, it's the same, so not very difficult to follow. The idea to start working with this, it is to choose through one of the methods and simply do a draw on work plan. And what happens, it is the plan will turn to you, and then when this is active, we are allowed to start sketching to the entities on the plan. And you see that in terms of the functions, we get the 2D functions that you already know or from the previous lessons done in this course. So I will do some example of construction to build a 3D solid element. So I'll build a couple of lines, nothing very special or nothing very difficult. Okay, something like this. These are construction lines. The principle it is the same. So just do some graphical lines. So something around here. I will turn back, sorry. Let me delete this, do something different. something a little different and easier to follow. So these are graphical lines. I will build 2 nodes because the idea is to apply a rotation. So when I'm finished with my profile, just do the exit or finished, and now I will apply in this particular case a rotation. Choose the profile, the axis defined by these 2 points, and okay, I've applied a rotation and I've created a 3D element. Now I can do something different, because if you remember, I've started choosing one of these work plans and do this function draw on work plan. Now with an element, I can click in one of the faces and say draw on face. Okay, so draw on face, it will happen the same, which is the face or the plan will turn to me, and I can start drawing in here. Okay, so I will apply the same principle. Let us do, for example, I'm not doing this with measurements. This is an example, so simply do this. Now apply an extrusion to these guys, let us say through all, to these guys here, simply, and you see I get a construction. The interesting part in these work plans is the fact that because I've chosen this face, now I have another work plan here. Okay, so it's always the same principle, so we can start doing things, and the work plans are added to the list. So we can have a lot of them. We can go in here again and saying, okay, draw on work plans. If I have several on top of the other, then I may choose from the list in here, or I can simply open them again, and I'm available to edit this and changing the value, for example, or maybe do something different, and this is updated as we would expect also. There is one interesting thing also, that if we open the parameters of this work plan, okay, I can open the parameters and I can say show in 3D, because by default it's not shown, and we can see it on the 3D, or not only the display, but also some configurations about the name, the colors, whatever. Okay, I think it's very straightforward, so not very difficult. Then we have another nice function that is the connection between the work plans and the 2D drawing, or the 2D side. So any work plan in the document, in the file, is linked to a page of the 2D drawing. So anytime or every time you create a work plan, the system adds a special 2D page that has a type called work plan, and it is automatically created in the document. We can see this if we, for example, if we split the window, we create this 2D side, and then we can call this functionality writing down PG. We can show the pages of the type work plan. Okay, close this, and you see all these tabs, that each one of the tabs, it's for each one of the work plans we have in here. So This one, it is empty, this is empty, this is not empty, it has my profile, and this has this view. Okay, for example, in my profile I can change whatever I want, for example this, and you see the drawing is automatically updated. Let's do another one. You see everything is automatically updated according to what is done in this 2D site. So this is something very nice also, and I think quite important. Now to show you the different, or at least the most important functions to create work plans, because there are a lot of different possibilities, and according to the situation, there are not there is no right or wrong ways to create work plans. Simply there are possibilities according to the elements we have. So let's try to resume and to show a couple of examples. I will create a very simple geometry to try to show some situations that we may use as example. So let's create a very simple geometry, an extrusion in this particular case, symmetry. Okay, very simple. So the first situation that we can show, it is to create a work plan parallel to a geometrical plan. We have a function, first of all, in here that is called work plan. A work plan opens a lot of different possibilities to create work plans. So the first one, simply plan, then we can choose a plan, and when we choose a geometrical entity, we can say 50, okay, and it will do it parallel to the entity we've choose, or instead of 50, minus 50, and you go on the opposite direction. So this is one of the first possibilities. Sorry. Then we have the possibility to create a work plan passing through a 3D point. So we can choose this function here. We can say we can choose one point, for example this one in here, and then we can connect this 3D point to a lot of things, because a 3D point does not define the position. So we can do a lot of things in here, and we can say a line, another point, whatever. So the first one, a point, and we can say, for example, a line, and we have this kind of possibility. We can do this, for example, also with 2 points. So one point here, one point here, and it will pass by the 2 points, and we can add the information, for example, with an angle. Okay. I did not show you in the previous one, but if I say 1 point and 1 line, okay, in this particular case I don't have the choice to add an angle. Okay, it is different. We can do this also interesting, doing, for example, another entity to help us showing other possibilities. Let us add a cylinder I will make this a little smaller. Okay. For example, I can do a work plan. I can choose a point, and I can say, for example, tangent to this surface. Okay, and you see, passes through the point, tangent to the surface. It's also a very interesting possibility. Then we can have possibilities connected still with points. For example, 3 points. So 1 point, 2 points. Let's say this one here. 3 points, because three points define a plan. So it's another interesting possibility. We can go also with the possibility to go passing a point through an edge. It can be, I don't have one particular edge on very specific situations. I will use one of the standard ones. So if I choose one edge, then I can add the angle. So it is also something interesting. I can choose also the possibility to select an axis. So if I have this one here, I can choose the axis of the cylinder. I can add the angle, and I can, not in this particular case, but I can add also information about to select an additional plan to be the base for the measurement of the angle. I will not do it in this particular case. So that is another nice possibility. Then I can create also what I consider a very nice function, creating first a 3D path. Let me create a couple of points. So for example, let's create a 3D path, and now I can create a work plan, choosing a path. Okay, and you see this function will be perpendicular to the path, and I may choose the point on the path. So I can choose that point here or that point. I'm using these points because are the ones I have defined, but if I create a couple of additional elements, I may choose other points. So this is also a very nice function to create complex situations in terms of the 3D path. I can have also functions, simply choosing a surface. I can choose this surface. I can choose a point, for example this point here, and what happens it is I will project this point to the surface, and the plan will be perpendicular to this function. So I think it's also interesting. I can work also with copies of work plans. I have a couple of functions in here, copy work plan. This is something that we can connect with local coordinate systems. So I will make a couple of coordinate systems, local coordinate systems. For example, I can use the function, I can create it through a coordinate system, for example this one here, and I can choose which type I want for this work plan, but I can do something a little different, like a copy, and I can say I want to copy this work plan. My base will be this local coordinate system to be served as a base, and my target will be this one. And you see the distance between the base local coordinate system and the plan, it is maintained when I say target. So all of these are different situations. I think these functions show you a lot of different possibilities to work with work plans. If you want to see more examples, more deeper explanations, consult our theoretical lesson, which show more details. To finish, two more important topics. The first one, it's about the parameters of work plans. So when I choose one of the work plans and say parameters, I have a couple of things we've talked, and you know already these standard ones. Besides, we have a couple of things like show in 3D, which we've seen for the first work plan that we've built on the face of that 3D profiled rotation. We can activate it or not. We can show also these 2D annotations in 3D view. Usually these are elements that fulfill a lot our 3D model area, but it may be helpful to have them displayed. The same for the rest of the 2D elements, and when we say all 2D elements, we are talking about edges, the graphical lines, construction lines, and others. We can show the intersection lines with work plans. Okay, so we may see these also. We may show the coordinate systems also, and we can control the transparency of the work plans more or less. Okay, we have this parameter also to control this. And we can set also this parameter, do not delete, using this purge command, because this is something that the work plan will not be deleted even if it is not used for any operations, because the purge will do a cleaning on the system, and if it checks and the work plan is empty, it's not based of any entity, it may be deleted out of the model, and we may not want that. In my perspective, it may not be interesting, because sometimes we need to have these entities done for future use of some kind of operation. Last thing to do about this work plan explanation has to do with something called the manipulators of work plans. This is something very easy, because we can create work plans for all of those ways we've mentioned. But if we simply click in one of the work plans, we get these symbols here, and these are called manipulators. Okay. When we click in one of these red arrows, these are functions to copy work plans. So if we do this, okay, we do a copy, and we can say the distance, whatever. So it is done. If we click on this blue sphere, this is a move, okay, and the plan, it is moved. So this is a very easy way to control the creation of new work plans. So it's nothing very difficult, and for sure it will speed you up in the work of this 3D side, and to be served as base for construction. I'm sorry for this a little longer lesson about these functionalities. I hope to pass the idea of the main functions about the work plan creation. Anyway, if you need any help, if you have any particular situation that does not fit in these explanations that were shown in here, send us an email or send us a comment on the video, and we'll try to help you, as you know already, because we say always this. But besides all that help we can give you, I would suggest that you consult our theoretical side of the course, because there are a lot of details that do not fit in this video, which is a little more on the highlights. So anything can be a complement to these lessons, and we are here to help you according to your needs. So let us know if something is needed.